everyone, this is Michelle for the Alleyway Stamps. I have a video for you today showing you how to make a word search theme card with this alphabet soup stamp set. And this is a really good stamp set because it has both capital and lowercase letters, so I just went ahead and pulled off all of the uppercase letters onto my acrylic block. I'm going to be making two cards at once, and one of them is going to be a birthday card and the other is going to be an I love you card. So I just pulled out two sheets of cardstock cut to about 3¼ by 2½ inches or something about that size. So I'm just going to draw a really light grid with my pencil and ruler right now so that I can keep all my letters straight while I'm stamping. So I just went ahead and I marked off rows of about 1/2 inch tall because that's how tall each of the letters are. And then for the columns, I just went and marked off about every 1/2 inch, even though the letters are a little smaller than that, just to have a guide for when I'm stamping to make sure I'm staying straight. So I went ahead and laid down all of my letters for the birthday card first. So birthday takes up pretty much the entire uh, width of my panel. So I went ahead and stamped that first in Hero Arts ink, which is a really nice black dye ink. So I'm just going to stamp that onto the lower row and then place the happy above it, making sure that each letter is directly above one of the letters below. And since I need two P's, I'm just going to leave a space open for that and then go back and stamp that afterwards. But again, I'm using the rows that I've drawn with my pencil as a guide, and you can't really see it on camera here, but because I drew them really lightly, but you can see them in person. That'll help you stamp everything straight. So I'm just going to quickly stamp that, and then once that's done, I'm going to go back and use just the P to finish off the word. And then after I stamped that P to finish off happy, I also just stamped one under birthday because eventually we're going to be filling up this entire space with letters. So since I already had that letter mounted, I might as well start filling it up now. And then I moved on to the I love you card, and I'm following the same process here, just stamping all of the words that will spell out real words first, just to make sure I have enough space for them. And then after I stamp all of that, I can go back and fill in all the spaces. And sorry that my head just pops in a little bit here. It's just easier for me to look directly over my acrylic block to make sure I'm stamping straight. So as you can see, I'm just bouncing between my two panels every time I mount a letter, just so that I don't have to remount my letters every time. And once I have the completely finished panels, with all of my letters filled in, I went ahead and drew a loose circle around the words that I want to highlight here. And then I just took a thumbtack and a mouse pad and I'm punching little holes about 1/4 inch apart. And if you have a paper piercing tool, you can go ahead and use that, but a thumbtack works just fine too. And then after I've punched in all of these little holes, I pulled out some embroidery floss. And this is actually gradiated embroidery floss so that one thread changes colors from light to dark. And I thought this is a really nice touch just to give more interest to the card. So I pulled out a green one and also a purple one. And later on, we're going to match this to the cardstock we're using under these panels. So you can go ahead and choose any color you want, or even do a whole bunch of these at once with different colors, which I ended up doing, and I'll show you pictures of that at the end. So I just cut lengths of this about 1 or 1.5 feet long. And once I have my strings cut, I'm going to separate these into strands. So embroidery floss comes with 6 strands that you can take apart. So here I'm taking apart 2, but later on I decided that for my future cards I was going to do 3 just to make it a little thicker. And then I pulled out these needles that are actually meant for cross stitching, and they have a little bit of a bigger hole for you to thread your needle with. But if you just have normal needles, you can go ahead and use that also. And I'm just going to do a simple back stitch here, going through all of the holes that I've already punched beforehand. And I'll just show this on camera really quickly, and I'm taping the ends with some painter's tape just to hold it in place. And this is just a really easy stitch to do. You basically just go forward one, and then on the front you go backwards, and you keep repeating this. So I'll just show it really quickly, and then I'll finish the rest off camera. This takes maybe a little bit of time, but you can just do this while having something on in the background, and it goes by pretty quickly. And then as I was going along, I remembered that I should probably erase my lines before I completely thread this, just so that it's easier, just because it's easier to do this before all of the stitching is on. So you can go ahead and do that before you start stitching. So here I have my finished panels with my two groups of sentiments stitched out, and this just really highlights the words that you want to pop out. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to be matching my mats to the thread that I chose. So I have a green cardstock and then a purple one, and I'm just going to tape that right on and then trim it out afterwards. So here I'm just deciding which shade of green I like, and I think the brighter one works better so it can pop out better on a neutral background. I just pulled out some pattern paper from my scrap basket for the purple one, and then for the green card I pulled out some neutral paper from Studio Calico 6x6 paper pad. And this makes it really easy to make a whole set at once, because if you just have a set of neutral pattern papers, you don't really have to think much about which ones you're going to use, because the colors will basically match with anything. And then I pulled out a sheet of foam, which I've seen other crafters do recently instead of using foam tape. I'm just cutting out some panels to adhere to the back of these front panels, just to give some even dimension to the back of it and to pop it up a little bit from the front of the card. So I just went ahead and adhere that and then put it on top of the pattern paper pieces that I've trimmed down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I have two white card bases, which are the same size, and I'm just going to tape those down as well. So here you can see the finished card, and on screen I have a photo of the two that I've recorded in this video, but I also went back and made a whole set of 6 of these, so I made 4 more birthday cards, and this is a really great design to just duplicate, because once you have all of your letters mounted, it's really easy to just go back and stamp them all on the different panels at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed this video showing you how to make these crossword themed cards. Make sure to subscribe to the Alleyway Stamps or my own YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing more crafty tutorials. And on screen I also have a couple of videos that I've done in the past for the Alleyway Stamps, so you can go ahead and check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.